Ford is recalling more than 500,000 F-150 pickup trucks.
Ford says it's due to a transmission issue.
Right now, $90,000 luxury pickups are hitting auctions for just $14,000. These aren't wrecks or high-mileage junkers. They're clean, low-mile trucks with every option. Dealers are desperate, banks are panicking, and buyers who don't understand what's happening are about to lose thousands. In this video, I'll show you why the truck market is collapsing, how far prices can still fall, and the exact models that are holding value. If you're thinking about buying, wait until you see what's really going on behind the scenes. The crash nobody saw coming. Right now, while you're watching this video, luxury pickup trucks that sold for $90,000 just 2 years ago are sitting on auction lots with $14,000 price tags. We're not talking about damaged vehicles or high-mileage beaters. We're talking about nearly new trucks with leather seats, premium sound systems, and all the bells and whistles that used to justify their sky-high prices. Meet Mike, a contractor from Texas who thought he was being smart by waiting for truck prices to drop. Last week, he found a 2022 Ford F-250 King Ranch that originally stickered for $89,000 listed at a dealer auction for $14,500. Mike couldn't believe it was real. But when he showed up to bid, he discovered something that made his blood run cold. Because this isn't just about one truck or one auction. This is about a complete collapse in the luxury truck market that's happening so fast. It's catching everyone, dealers, banks, and customers, completely off guard. The trucks that were supposed to be status symbols and investment-grade vehicles are becoming financial anchors, dragging their owners underwater. But here's the part that should terrify every truck owner in America. The real cost of ignorance. If $90,000 trucks are selling for $14,000, what does that mean for every other vehicle on the road? The question isn't whether you can get an incredible deal on a luxury truck. It's whether you'll understand why they're so cheap before you make the biggest financial mistake of your life. Between 2015 and 2023, the price of a new pickup truck exploded from about $38,000 to more than $61,000. That's a 60% jump in less than a decade. For the average American, paychecks didn't even come close to keeping up. Median household income grew just 25% in that same period, barely half the pace of truck prices. When you adjust for inflation, real income growth was barely 12%. In the 1990s, a full-size pickup cost about half of what a typical family earned in a year. By 2022, a new truck ate up nearly all of it, 95% of median household income. The math stopped working for normal buyers. Payments that averaged $450 a month in 2015 ballooned to $900 or more by 2022. Loan balances shot up too, with the average auto loan for trucks and SUVs rising from $31,000 to over $47,000. 7-year financing became the rule, not the exception. And now, those families who stretched every dollar are watching their investments evaporate. The numbers don't lie, but they also don't tell you who's getting crushed by this avalanche. That's where things get personal. If this sounds insane, but you're seeing it happen, hit subscribe right now. We dig through the auction data, dealer lists, and market reports, so you don't have to. Who's holding the bag? Behind the sticker shock of those $90,000 pickups sat a machine designed to print money for automakers and dealers. Until the gears locked up, Detroit didn't just raise prices and hope for the best. They built a secret system of cash spiffs, allocation games, and bonus programs that quietly funneled millions into dealer pockets for moving high-margin trims. Ford, GM, and RAM all played the same game. Dangle extra cash under the table if dealers ordered more King Ranches, Denali's, and Limiteds. Trucks loaded with every gadget, every badge, every stitch of leather. On paper, the profit margin on these luxury models topped 30%, but that was just the start. Between 2020 and 2023, factory dealer cash bonuses soared to $10,000 or more per truck, stacked on top of rebates and low-interest financing. The catch? Dealers had to take delivery of more high-end inventory than they could possibly sell. Allocation was the golden ticket. Move enough loaded trucks and you'd get first dibs on the next shipment, the only way to stay in the game when supply was tight. Refuse, and the factory would freeze you out, or worse, cut your allocation for the next model year. This wasn't about serving the hard-working buyer. It was about juicing the numbers quarter after quarter, while the average family fell further behind. The system was built to keep prices high and inventory moving. But when the music stopped, those trucks became financial landmines waiting to explode. The panic spreads like wildfire. Mike scrolled through the auction listings late one night, half expecting the same old story. Overpriced trucks, too many miles, nothing worth the hassle. But then, buried between a fleet of white work vans and a handful of battered half-tons, he spotted it. A 2022 Ford F-250 King Ranch. Original sticker price, $89,000. Auction start, $14,500. The odometer read just over 22,000 miles. Not a salvage title, not a flood victim, not a base model stripped of features. This was the real deal. Leather seats, panoramic roof, adaptive cruise, the kind of truck that 2 years ago would have drawn a crowd at any Texas dealership. He ran the VIN through every database he could find. Clean history, no accidents, no recalls, no red flags. The auction listing even showed the original window sticker still tucked in the glove box. Mike's heart pounded. It didn't make sense. Trucks like this weren't supposed to be this cheap, not with so few miles, not with every option checked. He called a buddy who worked wholesale. Is this a typo, or are they really dumping these for $14,000? The answer came back quick. It's real. Dealers are getting desperate. Mike drove 3 hours to the auction, expecting a mob. Instead, the lot was eerily quiet. Rows of unsold trucks stretched as far as he could see. Some still had the plastic on the seats. Standing there, Mike felt the thrill of possibility and a creeping sense of dread. The auction floor tells no lies. Word traveled fast across the auction floor. Dealers clustered in tight circles, voices low, eyes darting from the bidding screens to the endless rows of unsold trucks. The chatter wasn't about finding bargains. It was about survival. Whispers spread. Another dealer had just dumped 6 King Ranches at a loss so deep, the bank called the next morning. At Manheim, Dallas, staff watched as late-model Denali's, Rams, and F-150 Platinums rolled past the block, drawing bids that barely cleared $15,000. Some trucks didn't get a single offer. The air in the room felt heavy, like everyone was waiting for the next shoe to drop. Mike stood off to the side, listening. Nobody was talking about profit anymore. The only question was how fast you could get out before the floor plan lenders started calling in loans. One dealer muttered, "If you wait another week, you'll get even less." Another, shaking his head, said, "This is 2008 all over again, but worse." The panic wasn't just at the auction. Across the country, group texts and late-night phone calls buzzed with rumors. Dealers dumping entire inventories, lenders demanding cash paydowns, floor plan companies threatening to freeze credit lines. Trucks that had been the pride of the lot, chrome shining, leather still creased from the factory, were now just dead weight, racking up $18 a day in interest and insurance. For the first time, dealers realized there was no bottom. Holding out for a rebound meant risking everything. The smart play: 2 trucks to buy. If you're watching this and want to come out ahead, listen closely. Not all trucks are collapsing equally. While luxury trims are in freefall, there are 2 categories that represent real value right now, if you know what to look for. We're talking about Ford F-150 XLT, Chevrolet Silverado 1500 LT, or Ram 1500 Bighorn. These trucks never commanded the insane premiums of their luxury cousins, which means they're not suffering the same catastrophic drops. Look for 2021 to 2023 models with 30 to 50,000 miles, crew cab, 4-wheel drive, and the base V8 engine. Target price? Between $28,000 and $32,000 out the door. At that number, you're buying a truck that'll hold its value better than anything with a Platinum or Denali badge. These are the trucks contractors actually use, not the ones they bought to impress the neighbors. Ford Maverick, Honda Ridgeline, or Toyota Tacoma. These never participated in the luxury bubble, and their resale values remain stable. You can pick up a 2022 Maverick with under 20,000 miles for $24,000 to $27,000, a price point that makes sense for anyone who needs a truck but doesn't need to tow 15,000 pounds. Here's your negotiation script. Walk in, show them comparable auction data, and say, "I'm paying cash and I'm paying market rate, not retail fantasy." But before you buy anything, 2 trucks to avoid at all costs. Now let's talk about the trucks that'll leave you financially bleeding. Avoid anything with a luxury badge and a loan balance over $40,000. We're talking King Ranch, Denali, Platinum, Tungsten, Limited. Every high-trim truck that sold for $80,000+ is now a financial trap. Even if the dealer is offering massive discounts, you're catching a falling knife. Values are still dropping, and they'll continue to drop through 2026. Buy one of these today for $35,000, and you'll watch it become worth $22,000 by next year. You're not getting a deal. You're buying someone else's problem. If you already own one of these trucks, don't compound the mistake by trading it in. You'll get destroyed on the trade value, Instead, drive it until the wheels fall off and avoid taking on any new debt tied to it. Avoid any truck sitting on a dealer lot for over 90 days. Check the window sticker for the build date. If that truck has been aging like milk in the sun, there's a reason. Dealers are desperate to move aged inventory before their lenders force a fire sale, which means they'll hit you with hidden fees, inflated interest rates, or market adjustments to claw back margin. Your negotiation script here. Show me the in-service date, and if it's over 3 months old, I'm walking unless you're selling at auction price. Don't let them guilt you into saving a truck that's already doomed. The market has spoken, and these vehicles are dead money. But here's what the dealers will never tell you: the myth versus the reality. You've been told for years that trucks hold their value better than any other vehicle. That was true until it wasn't. The myth is that pickups are a safe investment, a hedge against inflation, a symbol of American resilience. The reality? That story was marketing propaganda designed to justify prices that had no connection to actual worth. Here's what really happened. Automakers convinced buyers that a truck wasn't just transportation, it was an asset class. They pushed financing terms longer and longer, piled on features nobody asked for, and told families that stretching their budget was smart because it'll hold its value. Banks went along with it, approving loans that required buyers to finance 110% of the purchase price, rolling negative equity from previous trades into new deals, creating a cycle of debt that could only work if prices kept climbing forever. But markets don't work that way. What goes up comes down, and when it does, gravity hits hard. The trucks didn't change. The leather didn't get worse. The engines didn't stop running. What changed was the collective delusion that a $90,000 pickup was ever worth $90,000. Now the correction is here, and it's brutal. Auction data shows that luxury trucks are losing value faster than any vehicle class since the 2008 financial crisis. Dealers are stuck with inventory they can't move. Banks are writing off losses by the hundreds of millions. And families, they're the ones left holding the bag, watching their investment turn into an anchor. But if you think that's the whole story, the technical truth dealers won't share. Let's dig into the mechanics of why these trucks are collapsing. It starts with depreciation curves that were always unsustainable. In a normal market, a new vehicle loses about 20 to 30% of its value in the first year. But luxury trucks during the 2020 to 2023 bubble were only losing 10 to 15%, not because they were better vehicles, but because demand was artificially inflated by low inventory and cheap financing. When interest rates spiked in 2023, that cheap money dried up. Suddenly, buyers couldn't afford $900 monthly payments, and demand evaporated overnight. Dealers who'd been sitting on inventory expecting a quick flip found themselves stuck with trucks that were aging by the day and losing value by the hour. Here's the technical breakdown. A Ford F-250 King Ranch with a manufacturer's suggested retail price of $89,000 typically carried a dealer invoice of around $76,000. Add in holdback and incentives, and the dealer's real cost was closer to $72,000. In a hot market, they could sell it for $95,000 with add-ons and make a killing. But now, that same truck is wholesaling for $14,000 to $16,000 at auction. The dealer who's still holding one is underwater by $58,000. They're not negotiating anymore. They're hemorrhaging cash every single day it sits on the lot. Floor plan interest rates average around 8% annually, which translates to about $18 per day per truck. Multiply that by 60 trucks, and you're burning $1,100 a day just to keep the lights on. Insurance, lot fees, and carrying costs add up fast. The supply chain nobody's talking about. The collapse isn't just about demand, it's about a supply glut that Detroit engineered on purpose. Throughout 2022 and 2023, even as demand started softening, Ford, GM, and RAM kept the production lines running at full capacity. Why? Because stopping production meant missing quarterly targets, spooking investors, and admitting the party was over. Internal memos show that automakers were offering dealers up to $12,000 per truck in back-end incentives just to keep inventory moving. These weren't public rebates. They were quiet cash payments that only showed up if dealers hit volume targets. The goal was simple: flood the market, keep the numbers up, and pray that demand would return before the whole thing collapsed. It didn't work. By mid-2024, dealer lots across America were jammed with high-trim pickups that had been sitting for 6, 9, even 12 months. Some trucks rolled off the line in 2023 and still had factory plastic on the seats when they hit the auction block in 2025. The technical term for this is channel stuffing, when manufacturers push inventory onto dealers faster than consumers can absorb it. It's a short-term strategy to inflate sales numbers and keep Wall Street happy, but it's a disaster for everyone downstream. Now those chickens are coming home to roost. Auction houses are processing more late-model luxury trucks than at any point in history. Mannheim alone reported a 320% increase in King Ranch, Denali, and limited listings between January 2024 and January 2025. The market is drowning in supply, and there's no cavalry coming to save it. How this hits your driveway. Maybe you're watching this thinking, I don't own a $90,000 truck, so this doesn't affect me. Wrong. The collapse of the luxury truck market is a rising tide that's sinking every boat in the harbor. If you own any pickup, even a base model work truck, your trade-in value just took a hit. Here's why. When dealers are desperate to move high-end inventory, they slash prices across the board to generate cash flow. That 3-year-old F-150 XLT you bought used? The dealer down the street is now selling a newer, better-equipped Lariat for less than you paid. Your truck didn't get worse. The market just moved the goalposts. Insurance companies are recalculating actual cash values based on recent auction data, which means if your truck gets totaled or stolen, you're getting a payout based on $14,000 comps, not the $35,000 you think it's worth. Gap insurance might cover some of the difference, but read the fine print. Many policies exclude market fluctuations or extraordinary conditions. Trade-ins are where this gets ugly. Walk into a dealership today with a truck you bought 2 years ago, and they'll lowball you by $15,000 to $20,000 compared to what you expected. They're not being mean. They're being realistic. They know they'll have to wholesale it, and wholesale prices are in the toilet. The ripple effect extends to financing, too. Banks are tightening lending standards on all pickups, requiring larger down payments and shorter loan terms. If you're planning to buy in the next 6 months, expect to put down at least 15% and prove you can afford the payment on a 5-year note, not 7. Your decision tree. So what do you actually do if you're in the market right now or already own one of these trucks? Let's break it down into clear choices. The first option is if you're looking to buy. First, get pre-approved for financing from a credit union, not the dealer. Dealer financing right now comes with junk fees and inflated rates because they're desperate to make up losses. Second, target trucks that are at least 90 days old on the lot. Use the Carfax or AutoCheck to verify the in-service date. Then offer auction price plus 10%. Walk in with printed comps from Mannheim or Adisa and don't negotiate against yourself. Third, avoid anything with luxury trim. Stick to XLT, LT, Bighorn, mid-grade trucks with real utility. These are depreciating slower and will hold value better. Your target all-in price should be no more than 70% of original MSRP for a truck under 3 years old. Fourth, demand a pre-purchase inspection from an independent mechanic. Dealers are cutting corners on recon work because they're bleeding cash. Don't assume anything's been fixed. The other option is, if you already own one of these trucks and you're underwater, do not panic sell. You'll take a catastrophic loss. Instead, focus on paying down principal as fast as possible. Every extra dollar you throw at the loan reduces your exposure. If you're current on payments and the truck runs fine, keep driving it. Yes, the value is tanked, but selling now locks in that loss. Wait it out. Markets eventually stabilize, and while you won't recover your original investment, you'll stop the bleeding. If you're facing repossession, call your lender immediately. Some are offering forbearance or loan modifications rather than repo. It's worth one phone call before you give up the keys. The DIY inspection checklist. Whether you're buying or holding, you need to know what you're dealing with. Here's your step-by-step inspection checklist that'll save you from hidden problems. Step 1. Check the frame and undercarriage. These trucks were sold as built tough, but frame rust and suspension wear hit hard after 40,000 miles. Crawl underneath with a flashlight. Look for rust bubbles, cracked welds, or sagging leaf springs. Step 2. Test the four-wheel drive system. Put it in 4 high and 4 low and listen for grinding, clunking, or hesitation. If the transfer case is slipping, you're looking at a $3,000 repair. Dealers won't fix it, they'll sell it as is and let you discover it later. Step 3. Scan for trouble codes. Buy a $20 OBD2 scanner and plug it in. Even if the check engine light isn't on, stored codes will tell you if there's a developing issue. Transmission codes, ABS faults, or emissions problems are all red flags. Step 4. Inspect the interior for signs of hard use. Cracked leather, worn pedals, and stained carpets indicate a truck that's been beaten. If the exterior is pristine, but the interior is trashed, walk away. It's been detailed to hide problems. Step 5. Test every electronic feature. Luxury trucks are loaded with tech that fails expensively. Check the backup camera, adaptive cruise, lane assist, and infotainment. If anything doesn't work, factor in repair costs or use it as a negotiation hammer. Step 6. Verify service history. Demand records for oil changes, brake work, and transmission service. No records means no buy. Period. This isn't a gamble you can afford to take. 4 truths you can't ignore. Prices are collapsing. Trucks that once sold for $90,000 are now moving at auction for as little as $14,000 to $16,000. And the slide isn't done yet. Expect values to keep falling through 2026 as dealers and banks continue dumping inventory to cut their losses. The fallout reaches everyone. This isn't just about luxury buyers. It's every truck owner, every trade-in, every financed vehicle. Values are eroding across the board. Insurance payouts, loan-to-value ratios, and financing terms are tightening as lenders adjust to the downturn. Next comes the market's response. Automakers are slashing production of high-end trims, shifting toward lower-cost builds, and bracing for years of weak resale values. Dealers are scrambling to survive, which means sharper discounts, aggressive sales tactics, and fewer buyer protections. So what should you do? If you're buying, focus on mid-trim trucks priced around 70% of their original sticker. If you already own a luxury model, keep it and drive it. Don't panic sell and lock in your loss. And if you're underwater on a loan, talk to your lender before repossession becomes the next step. The companies that fueled this mess, Ford, GM, RAM, and the banks, are already gearing up for the next profit cycle. They'll rebrand, remarket, and sell the same dream under a new badge. But you don't have to play along. Knowledge is leverage, and right now, you're ahead of most buyers walking onto a lot. The real question is what you'll do with that advantage. 6 months from now, when the next wave of price drops hits, you'll either be ready or left wondering how you got caught in the storm. If this video saved you from making a $15,000 mistake or helped you see what's really happening in the truck market, hit that subscribe button right now. This channel exists to arm you with the information dealers and automakers would rather you never hear. Drop a comment below with your state, the truck you own or want to buy, and your target out-the-door price. Here's the pinned question. What's the biggest price drop you've seen on a truck near you? Post the year, make, model, original price, and current asking price so we can build real-world data that helps everyone make smarter moves.